halftimes have been a lifesaver in keeping us going during this unusual time that we find ourselves in. So thank you so much, Felicia. I appreciate it. I'm sure everyone else does too. So as Felicia said, I've been blogging for 10 years, and I have found it to be so fulfilling, and it's brought me so much joy. So in 2020, I decided I would help others start their own blogs. So to that end, all right, let's see. I guess I'm going to have to do this, unless from the beginning. Hold on. Okay, here we go. All right, so why start a blog? So I started a blog because I wanted to share stories of female entrepreneurs. And maybe you have stories that you want to share about people you know. Maybe you have a journal. Maybe you have something that you really enjoy and you want to educate people. Or share that experience. Maybe you're a quilter and you want to meet other quilters and share what you know about it. A blog is the easiest way that I have found to do that. Maybe you have a business and you want to promote your business. There are a million ways to help you promote an existing business through a blog. And maybe you want to meet new people. I think about the people that I've met through Venture Mom, and honestly, I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. So a lot of people ask me what to blog about, and the ideas are endless. You could blog about cat toys or anything. So I put up 3 different photos here, and I'm going to take each one and give you an idea from each photo of things you could blog about. So the woman on the left with the little girls on the suitcases, this photo, you might be writing a blog about twins, how to raise twins. You might be writing a blog about great suitcases. You might be writing a blog about new towns that you're visiting, or moving to a new town, or how to move a family to a new town. The photo on the top right, it might be a blog about being a grandparent. It might be a blog about teaching your children how to cook. It might be a family blog. It might be a blog about helping a child overcome shyness. It could be a number of things. When I look at the blog on the bottom, the photo on the bottom of the 2 blue couches, this would be a great decorating blog, but it could go further. It might be a blog about how to place your artwork. It might be a blog about how to use color in a plainer, muted color room. It might be a blog, I see 2 desks back there, so it might be a blog about how to set up a homework station in your living room. So each of these photos, I can come up with about 8 or 10 different ideas for blogs. So that gives you an idea when you think about what you blog about, look at pictures and what you think you would like to tell your audience. So what is your subject? It might be something you're very passionate about. If you're passionate about quilting, you could share different quilts you've done, different techniques, different places you've visited, quilting companies. If you're passionate about planting, you might blog about different plants. You might blog about different kinds of gardens. You might blog about pots. So it's something that it should be something you're really passionate about. It should be something that you know. It could also be something that you discover. So maybe you love to travel. And so maybe we're not traveling right now, but you have pictures over the last several years of trips that you've taken and what you've discovered on those trips. So you could create, and being quarantined or locked down, it's a great time to write. So you want to write about things that you've discovered. Maybe you've discovered the best soil to use in a pot if planting is your passion and something you know about. You can also talk about what you're doing. So if you're a parent and you're going through a newborn, there are a million things you could talk about and how to care for a newborn. It might be that you're empty nesting and you want to write about how it feels, empty nester, and how you are reinventing your life now that you have kids at home to feed. Um, it might be that you're writing about you do have kids home to feed and how you're managing that, or how you're um, separating out duties and cleaning with the new normal. um, if you have a product, there are a million ways to talk about a product other than buy my product, buy my product. It should always be the advantage to the product. What is the benefit of your product or your service to your audience? So, for example, if you're writing about, let's say your service is dog walking, and you discover different dog walking trails that you want to share with people, that's an advantage. You're talking about places that they could go dog walking via places that you've taken other dogs dog walking. So you always want, when you're blogging to support a product or a service, you want to come at it from the angle of what's the benefit, or how am I helping other people, so that your audience can see how you could help them. So the first thing I suggest is that you start out by looking at what other blogs for women or blogs in your space are doing. And so I'm going to go through a couple, and I want to point out different things that I noticed. So Cup of Joe is a very well-known blog, and it's a lifestyle blog. And if you look at the toolbar, the way they separate the toolbar in a lifestyle blog, things that are important to them: design, food, travel, relationships. And this is very simple. It's a simple layout. And under relationships, she's talking about how are you doing? And she's got a baby falling over her dogs. She shows a picture of herself with one of her children. So you immediately discover this is a blog. A mom is sharing stories with her children around different categories. Design, so it would be designing for a family, travel with the family, and you see on the right a US travel destination. That would all be around, her point of view is the US travel destination with a family. I also like this one a lot because it's called workoutmommy.com, and fitness secrets from a badass single mom. So you immediately see or learn from her banner across the top that she's a single mom with 4 boys, and it's all about working out, and she's all about being a badass single mom. So she's got a point of view which attracts her audience. And so her blog role is below. Do you work out in your garage? And she talks in her blog about how she sets up her workout station in her garage. She also then profiles women that she's helped. And in her style, she calls Mrs. Fat Ass's One Fit Mommy is the name of this blog. That's catchy, it's fun. And so she talks about how she helped this client get fit. And I don't know if you can see it, but her social media icons on the right are in kettlebells. So she's got a great branding and style and way that she's set up her categories. There are a lot of local bloggers here in Connecticut. One I like in particular is Design Darling, Mackenzie Horan. She started blogging in college, and she's built quite a following. When she started blogging, she blogged about where she was in her life, which was just out of college and living in the city. So it was a lot of style and a lot of clothing and things for decorating her apartment. She then got engaged, so she talked a lot about engagement parties and gifts that she wanted for setting up her home. Then she got married, and you can see she got married in Nantucket, and her blogs were all about getting married and what other people getting married would need and want, and things that she was going through. Well, now she has a baby. So, I mean, you can see how her blog point of view has changed as her life has changed. And her followers love hearing her stories and following her life. Here's another blog I love, Gluten-Free Mom. So this is a mom who ended up with a gluten-free child. I have a gluten-free child, and discovering recipes and flowers to use and ways to feed, a child that's gluten-free. She's delivering recipes. Her audience are women that need gluten-free food for their children. So her avatar, her profile is very specific. So you, when you're developing your blog, should be very specific in who you're talking to so that you can direct your blog post to that target market. It's very clear who's going to be reading her blog post. Oh, and one other thing I just want to show you with hers is that she has separated her recipes by category. So if you Google or you want to look for, let's say you want to make, salads, gluten-free salad dressings or pasta dishes, you would go specifically to that category. So you want to think about when you set up your blog, how you're going to set up those categories based on what your topic is. Another local blogger, Wit and Whimsy, and she's very simple. She does a blog or two a week, and her banner, she's got a toolbar at the top, and then her homepage is very simple. Meet me, start shopping, and subscribe. And she does recipes, lifestyle, clothing, and travel, I believe. No, recipes, beauty, books. So books is another big thing. Richie's Radar, the same kind of thing. She does books, recipes, lifestyle. This is a blog post she did on pink sweaters. So you can see that there's so many different things you can blog about. And she then has links through affiliate networks to monetize her blog. I have a whole nother workshop on monetizing your blog, so I won't go into that too much here. Some people just blog because they have information they want to share. Stacy Bucas started out blogging probably 10 years ago as well, and she blogs about very high-end architecture, art, and decorating. And through just blogging, she has built a whole speaking career and has an online television show. And I love her style. She's got two colors. It's the blue and the orange, and she's got these beautiful tiles on the side of her blog, and then her blog is in the middle. So you can develop your homepage in this way that speaks to who you are and what you're saying. Getting set up. Now, it's pretty simple, but if I can do it, you can do it. The first thing you need to do is come up with a blog name. In my book, Venture Mom, From Idea to Income in Just 12 Weeks, I have a whole chapter on coming up with a name, but I'm going to give you a really short lesson. I take a notebook and I write out, I brainstorm related names. So let's say you're starting a blog on cooking desserts and you want to call it, so you don't know what to call it. Your name is Kathy, starts with a C. And you brainstorm, you make a list of related words to dessert. So it might be cupcakes, cookies, cakes, icing. And then you do another list of adjectives, which might be yummy, delicious, confections. And then you do another list and you get personal. So it might be, I live in Darien. I live on, Hillside Road. I went to this college and the mascot was this. Or I go to Martha's Vineyard and, I go to this beach, right? And then take those lists and put together catchy combinations. I like alliteration. So let's say your name is Kathy and you go to Nantucket Cisco Beach. It might be Kathy's Cisco Confections. So then you put the 3 words together or 2 words together to come up with something that speaks to you and talks about what you're doing. But some of the examples I've given you, Cup of Joe, that's like you're having a cup of coffee reading a lifestyle blog. A pinch of yum. I mean, you get the idea, but you can come up with a cute name by making lists of things around who you are and what you're doing. And then take your names and gather feedback. So you want to go to your friends and family and say, what do you think of when I say Cisco confection? And maybe nobody, confections, that's a long word. Maybe that's not a good one. And so you come up with several and you get feedback from friends and family. And then check the domain name. So if Kathy's Confections is taken, maybe you add Kathy's Confections CT or USA or something, Kathy's Confections for you. Because you want to make sure the .com is available for you when you go forward with your name. Now you need to brand your blog. So I want to keep this really simple because I don't want you to get hung up on this, and I don't want you to spend a lot of money, because my whole thing is keep it simple and get moving. So you need a logo, and there are a lot of free logo services. Just Google free logos. Pick 2 colors that speak to you. Like the Quintessence blog, her colors are blue and orange. My colors are pink and brown. And then get the Pantone so you use the same colors all the time. Choose 2 fonts, and you might want to have a tagline like the Workout Mom. So I've got a couple of examples here just to get your creative juices flowing. Travelingmom.com. That tells you exactly what that blog is about. It's about a mom who's traveling. Her colors are this blue and this deep orange, and her tagline, I don't know if you can see it, it's "We've been there." And then she uses a compass on the M. So it's a really simple blog, but it's a really simple logo, but every time you see it, you know what it is. It's the Mom blog. 60 and Me, cute colors, pink and white, and that's a blog about being 60. Prime Women, and then she's got Redefining the Over 50 Female. So that tells you that's a blog about women over 50. Esther Bloom created a cute logo with her signature of her first name and Bloom, and then she's got her education below. She's a nutritionist. The Local Vault, their colors are lime green and black, and they are an online consignment. So each week or twice a week, they send out new products that they've got on consignment online. So this gives you an idea of how to brand yourself in a really simple way without spending a lot of time or money. And of course, they're great graphic designers that can help you if you need help. So the technical side, I like WordPress. There are tons of other things you can use for a blog, but what I've done here is show you a page from my WordPress site. And it looks like a lot of this stuff I don't even use. I do have a tech team that helps, but I do my own blog. And I believe in teaching you to fish rather than giving you a fish. You want to be able to change your blog yourself. So there are 3 circles here. The circle on the left, to do a new blog, you simply click Add New, and then you'll get a blank page, what you're seeing in the middle, and this works like Word. So if the circle in the middle shows you all of the same way to put things in the middle, to italics, to bold, everything just below. And then you insert a photo and you put your wording in the blog post as well. And then the circle on the left, if I had not posted this yet, you would see the ability to schedule blog posts. So let's say you're going away in June, you can do all of your posts in May and queue them up so that you can actually take a vacation and you're not tied to your blog. Because what happens once you start blogging, first of all, you'll be addicted to it. And second of all, if you miss a blog, people will think you died. So you don't want to miss a blog. You want to queue them up even when you're not available. The structure of your blog. I would start with 4 simple pages: home, about, the blog role, and contact. So the home just shows, here are 2 examples of home. And then you would have about, that's a photo of you and talks about why you're blogging and what it means to you and what you hope your followers will get from your blog. You certainly want to have a contact page so people can reach out to you. And then you have a blog roll page. You'll also decide what your categories are. And this is like the gluten-free mom had categories broken down by main course, salad, desserts. Your categories might be, if you're a decorator, your categories might be living room, bathroom, den, kitchen, mudroom, or whatever rooms you're showing. If you're a gardener landscaper, you might show back patio, front porch, living room decor with plants. So you will decide your categories. The archive will be archived by months. So if someone wanted to go back in and see what clothing you were suggesting for December, they could look in December and categorize in the clothing category, lifestyle category. Content, what are you going to write about? This is a big one. So you want to find your voice and you want to stay in your lane. Grown and Flown are two women that write about kids growing up and leaving the nest. So they're grown and they're flown. So they would not do a blog post on what to wear to a fashion gala or a beauty product. Their lane is all about kids in their teens and 20s leaving home. This is an example of a blog post, last minute items not to forget on a college packing list. That is in their lane, that is their voice. You see a picture of, the room, the kid packing. So make you stay with what you're true to and what you know. Pinch of Yum. The only thing they write about are recipes. They would never write about beauty products or what to wear. They might recommend an apron, but mostly it's what to make for dinner and all of their recipes. They also have a shop page and they talk about pans and spoons and cooking utensils. But their voice and what they're writing about is all about cooking. Tiger Lilies is a store in Greenwich, and they do a lot of before and afters. They're selling the items that they've repurposed. And this blog post shows some stools that they found at a junk shop and how they've recovered them and made them really nice. So more on what to write about. You can write about projects. So if you're doing a gardening project, you could show before and after, the garden with just dirt, and then after you've planted it, and then after it's grown. This is an example of a decorator who has shown all the way along this house that they've renovated and furnished in Long Island. So projects are a great thing to write about. You can write about people. Ebu is a store in Charleston. Ooh, I'm running over. So I'm gonna speed up here. So Ebu writes about, this is a post about products and where they found these beautiful beads, and now they're selling them. Here's another, this is Esther Bloom, writes about products that she recommends for her clients. So each one of these products is a blog post. Ebu also writes about people. This is Iris, and she's wearing these beautiful Ebu bracelets. You could do reviews. This is Amy's Bookshelf. She reviews books. You could review kitchen products. You could review a million other things. Cup of Joe writes about books, products, clothing. Finally, find your following. So I have a posting schedule. You want to have a posting schedule as well. Tuesdays, I do What Would Venture Mom Wear? Coveted Collection. Thursdays feature Venture Mom, and I'm starting a new one, The Inside Scoop. This is where I'll be sharing other people's blog posts. So have a schedule and stick to it as much as you can. Find your following. You want to have your social media channels, and you want them branded with your logo and your banner, and you want to post. You can do one blog post and post it on all of your other social media channels. So you're repurposing the same blog. It's going across all of your channels so that you gather more people back to your blog. Finally, love what you're doing, and it's really a lot of fun. So keep it simple and just get going.
That was great, Holly. Thank you. I think there's some questions here, and if anybody else has some questions, you could post it in the chat. The first question was from Missy Fahey, and she said, can or should you link a blog to a website, or should they be independent? I have often thought about blogging to complement my business, which is interior design. Thank you.
You should absolutely link it. Absolutely. Because what you want to do, so if your blog would show things that you like, would also show your before and after, and you could share stories of the people that you're decorating for. So you're making it personal. What a blog allows you to do, and one thing I didn't mention, a blog should not be more than 200 to 500 words, but you're letting your audience know who you are. So if you have a design business, you want your audience to get to know you. So I may not be in the market right now to design my living room, but I would love to hear and see what you're doing, so that when it comes time for me to design my living room, I'm going to say, oh, well, I know Missy. I've been following her blog and I love her style. I'm going to reach out to her to help me.
Great. Okay. And then Cynthia Lyon had asked, can you blog without a web page to get started?
Yes, you absolutely can. The problem is, and it's okay to start this way, but it won't be like, it wouldn't, if I started a blog, it wouldn't be venturemom.com. It would be blogspot.venturemom.com. So you wouldn't, and that's a great way to start if you want to start that way, and then go on to get your own URL. But if you want the URL to be, abc.com rather than abc.blogspot.com, you need to get it in the form of a website. It's a little more advanced.
Great. Okay. And then Amy Palaka, first off, she said, thank you, Holly. And then could you comment on whether the rise in podcasts and vlogs has impacted the number of people who take the time to read a blog? Just curious.
Yeah, I'm going to start my own podcast. I'm really excited. I think there's an angle for everyone, and I think you have to cover it all. And I think if you're a blogger, you would want to be a guest on other people's podcasts. But I think there's always a space for a blog. And, people have said, well, can't I just do an Instagram? And you can. And I always post my blog photo. I use the same photo across all of my channels. So I recently did a blog post, 6 hours to a side gig. So the photo I used for that went to my Instagram and said, yes, you can start a side gig in 6 hours. Read more about it on my blog. So it directs people to, and I also put it on Twitter and Facebook, so it directs people to my blog. And then I do other things on Instagram that are simply, that's all I'm showing, right? Because on Instagram, you don't have the space. You don't have 200 to 500 words. Blogging is a longer form. It's when you have more to say. Not more than 500 words, but you have more to say. I mean, you can certainly every so often do something. If you have a whole lot to say, you might do a really long form, or you could break it up into